We have three more speakers, so we're going to move forward, and then we'll do some questions and answers at the end. I'd like to introduce Jodilynn Trujuillo Ortiz, and she is going to introduce herself. Thank you.
Hello. I'm Jodilynn Ortiz. I live in Placitas. I'm a community member there, but I'm also a consultant. My business is called Consulting USA LLC. About a year ago, I sat in on a community meeting, and there was some discussion on our pipelines. We have 5 pipelines, and I'll give some more discussion on that in the presentation. But I'm very concerned, and with my background as a consultant at strategic development planning, I have a master's in international commerce, a business degree, and in diplomacy, so I understand international realms and national. I also have another degree in, excuse me, when I speak I get dry mouth. I have another degree in the arts, in indigenous studies, and human rights issues. So I'm basing my presentation. No. Right here is a video of a flood that happened in 2016 in our creek. It's called Las Huertas Creek. And you're going to see a pipe exposed. So this is what this video is. It was given to me by our local newspaper, The Signpost. And it's pretty heavy when you look at it.
That's the water. That's the sound we hear. The water.
Exactly. And then there's the creek. There's.
And then the sound. Yeah. What was that pipe carrying?
Well, we have 5 pipelines. You'll see. I'll give you more explanation as we go on further. This is a road, by the way, as you can see. I'm an old family from the land grants here, so this creek is part of our land grant, water rights. This is in Las Huertas Creek in Placitas, 2016. I'd stop it, but it'll go a little bit longer. It's almost done. Again, that was from our local newspaper. Actually, one of the people that were at that flood at that time took the video, and it was handed over to our local newspaper. Mr. Devon, he, in courtesy, gave this to me to use in my presentation. The facts of our pipelines. They're over 60 years old. We have 5 pipelines, like I said. Kinder Morgan carries 1, Western Refining another 1, Enterprise carries the other 3. They contain jet fuel, gasoline, diesel fuel, crude oil, natural gas liquid, ethane, propane, butane, natural gas, and carbon dioxide. The flow rates are at a high flow rate, 60,000 barrels a day to 175,000 barrels. The diameters of the pipes vary from 8 inches to 16. The demographics of our pipeline area that will be affected. We have over 6,000 residential areas coupled in with small businesses. We have a school about 100 feet away. We have the senior community center that's in that vicinity. The pipelines run through the parking lot in the building area. Our land grant office is just in back of the community center, not even 100 feet away. Again, you saw the Las Huertas Acequia, our creek running, that is affected. And we have the water basin, which is the Albuquerque water basin, and our pueblos that are directly through there. What I'm doing is I'm writing, and I've written a proposal letter. It's 46 page long so far. And I'm basing it on mismanagement on federal codes. They're Title 49 U.S. codes. In that 49 codes are the Risk Integrity Management Code also, which relates to our safety. A lot of these codes are antiquated. I propose that we have, what needs to change is this inaccurate record keeping. The pipes when they were first built and placed weren't double walled. At that time, in that era, they weren't required. And throughout the policies, they became a requirement. It became a requirement, but it hasn't been fixed or changed. I say 40 years of age pipelines should be removed and replaced. The reason I say that because statistically, and I have many facts in my agenda that I will show, but in my statistics that I have found, every pipeline that has leaked or exploded has been over 40 years of age. Every single one. It's been proposed that a monitoring system of valves be placed 8 to 10 feet apart. That needs further research. And my other issue is the antiquated laws that rely on an act, the Lading Act, which is part of the codes in the federal policy, but is the intra and interstate policies that need to be changed. Our state has responsibility and authority over one of those pipelines. That's it. So those are the actions. I said I was going to write a policy. I'm writing a proposal letter to the U.S. Secretary of Transportation. There's many other entities that will be receiving that letter, that proposal. There's, let's see, Administration of the Environmental Protection Agency, Federal Agency Regulatory Commission, Pipeline and Hazardous Material Safety Administration, Technical Pipeline Safety Standards Committee, the Technical Hazardous Liquid Pipeline Safety Standards Committee, undersigned authority again of PRC, which I have been working with them and have retained inspections from them, from PRC. So they are in support that they should have authority of the pipelines, not just of one. So those are the agencies that I will be sending the proposal letter to, and I'm also, let's see, I want to change our federal bill on it regarding these issues and policies, these Title 49 policies. And I want to make this apparent to public, which I have already started. I have a lot of community in support of me in Placitas, and I'm reaching out. Obviously, I'm here with you all now. And collaborations, suggestions. I'm an open book. I have my drafts that I'm willing to share and discuss and maybe get a committee together. And let's see what else. Just hire an attorney. We need to work together. I put a conclusion in here regarding our human rights issues. Again, human rights degree here, background. Article 17.1 says everyone has the right to own property. Number 2, no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his property. You know, right now they're going to say we're not deprived of our property. We're not, until it busts and it leaks and it erupts. But you know, we can argue that. These are antiquated laws. There's been findings. There's things that are happening that we need to make them aware of. So here are the facts, a few of them. I have many more findings. Western Refining took over in 2014 as new owner of the pipelines. They, in their contract, which is, it's over 100 pages long, it's huge. it doesn't state anywhere in there when they have new ownership that they need to go in and repair or change anything of the pipes. Something in the law needs to change on that. This is a comparison to the Placitas pipeline to the Pegasus pipeline that leaked in 2013. This was a 65-year-old pipeline. That's how, it's pretty comparable to Placitas. They increased their pressure 50% the year before it leaked. Placitas pipeline is 60 years. BLM gave Western permission to increase the pressure to 800 psi 2 years ago. Placitas pipelines are a ticking time bomb. This is correspondence. Dwight Patterson, I don't know, many of you may know him. He's an engineer. He works at the Las Placitas Association. He gave me this piece of information. A couple were walking, smelt something, saw something, and called the number that was listed on the fence. When they called, nobody knew who they were, where Placitas was, what they were talking about. This is, I was working with ESCA, Eastern Sandoval Community Organization, Citizens Organization, excuse me, I always botch that. I was working with them, with Mr. John McKierney, and him and we were talking with PRC, and we were talking with other entities, the U.S. Secretary of State in Houston, our regional area. And this shows that they are only responsible for the one pipeline, when there's 3 of them from the same company that they only have the one, and that's Enterprise. So Enterprise owns 3 of the pipelines. Our state is authorized to only 1. These pipelines are over 40 years of age. They're not mandated. They're not given authority. This is a safety risk issue. The U.S. Department, U.S. Department of Transportation is the organization, the department that is supposed to give authority when there's an emergency. That's in their laws. That's in those 49 codes. They're not doing that. They're not giving authority. These pipelines are over 40 years of age. They need to give authority to the state to have more monitoring on them. They're not doing that. This is the basin. This is where all the oil is indication. This is one of our pipelines. It just shows more detail on how far it is reached. It's called the Cortez pipeline. That's Kinder Morgan. That's a carbon dioxide pipeline. This is the landmass pertaining to the area that will be affected in Placitas and the community around. And this is our water basin in Albuquerque that will be affected if this does leak. That's the end of my presentation.